everything that was ever wrong in elections came to the fore in 2023, essentially because Yakubu lost his sense of shame. To now have Mr. Festus Okoye sit down here and open his mouth, there must be a disconnect between the mouth and the brain box for him to offer anything short of an apology, unreserved one, to Nigerians. INEC deliberately sabotaged the electoral process because it was working to a predetermined, obnoxious and nauseous conclusion.
And to ensure that Buhari is disgraced out of power. He has been disgraced out of power. I heard he's on the run now in London. In 6 months, you will not recognize Buhari.
Welcome to Nation Freestyle, your most preferred YouTube channel. And here is what has been trending for the past 24 hours in Nigeria. My name is Angelo, your anchor. It's not been business as usual for the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, over the review of the European Union, and the INEC itself couldn't really come to terms with the fact that the EU gave a negative review for the conduct of elections during the last 2023 general elections. Now, Dele Farotimi, a Nigerian retired lawyer, as he calls himself, and a human rights activist, has not kept it out. He has come out physically to accuse Professor Mahmoud Yakubu of rigging the elections and manipulating the scores that were accrued to whoever won the elections during the time of coalition on March 1st, 2023. Now, during an interview with Sheun Akimbaloye, now, he actually reiterated that nothing can be called successful in this election because INEC really went short of an embarrassment to Nigerians and produced the results they had produced. Now, Dele Farotimi called out INEC and accused all of them. In fact, he said that Barrister Festus Okoye, the chairman of the Committee on Voter Education, should be writing a statement somewhere instead of coming out to tell Nigerians all sorts of things. He said they should quickly ensure that people like Festus Okoye should be somewhere else, either in detention or somewhere, answering questions instead of coming on board to lie to Nigerians and say all sorts of things like glitches, malware, malfunctioning of beavers, and so on and so forth. Well, to make these things clear, I would like to let you watch the video where Dele Farotimi really got angry in the studio and called out INEC.
I'll say this. Since Mr. Okoye's vituperations on your show, I have not sat in any collective of the Labour Party, but I will speak as a Nigerian, of course, one who worked within the Labour Party conclave and who has had occasion, of course, to speak with one or two persons. I wasn't in any way, shape, or form surprised by Mr. Festus Okoye's vituperations in your chambers.
Would you call it vituperations?
They are vituperations because they have
his own explanation.
No, they are vituperations. Vituperations are essentially outflows that do not flow from common sense. And that is what the gentleman did in your chambers here. Let me be very clear. INEC is a public body established by law, bound to work according to the law. It advertised its guidelines. It told the world what the guidelines were going to be. The taste of the pudding is in the eating. The reality is that for a long time, the electoral processes had been abandoned by Nigerians because they lack trust and confidence in the process. So the advertisement of beavers, the IRF and everything, they were quite vociferous in explaining to Nigerians and reassuring us of what would happen with the system. To now have Mr. Festus Okoye sit down here and open his mouth, there must be a disconnect between the mouth and the brain box for him to offer anything short of an apology, unreserved one, to Nigerians for the utter failure to pretended by INEC. Let me say this. In a sane environment where people are still governed by reason, the likes of Mr. Festus Okoye should either have resigned or be somewhere writing his statements explaining to Nigerians what happened. Glitch. The question is, that glitch, is it a glitch in human brain, a glitch in the technical systems, or a glitch occasioned by the complete shutdown of human conscience. So when the person now comes here and he sits down and he begins to offer explanations at variance with common sense, as has been attested to by anybody who observed this election or was here in this country, all the evidences are very clear, and it shows very clearly that everything that should work on that day worked except INEC. The integrity of INEC as an institution went on exile. So if a person who is now purporting to speak on behalf of such an organization is so lacking in shame that he will sit down here and even things that shouldn't issue forth for, I'm no longer practicing, and I'm restrained in speaking to the case that is before the court. So it is very clear what went wrong. INEC deliberately, and I say this without any equivocation and with all sense of responsibility, INEC deliberately sabotaged the electoral process because it was working to a predetermined, obnoxious, and nauseous conclusion. It's not about the system failing. It's about human beings electing on their own to sabotage a system. If you're looking at the 2015 election, the 2019 election, all I can tell you is that the 2023 election is the bottom part of Nigerian electoral malfeasance. Everything that was ever wrong in elections came to the fore in 2023, essentially because Yakubu lost his sense of shame. INEC, it was the principal failure on the day. Every other one was tangential. What we know as a fact is that Yakubu cannot rationally explain to anybody in the world how he arrived at the result that he announced, because what we have is at variance with what they are even busy uploading in most cases, even though they have not even finished uploading up until today. And yet, a winner was declared by INEC. What he's explaining is that the process itself, if it is flawed, fundamentally flawed, open to manipulation, not transparent, what it has produced cannot be said to be good. So let's deal with that process, look at how it has affected the outcome. If the process is deemed to be bad, the product is obviously not going to be acceptable. It is our belief that if the judiciary is indeed the last hope of the common man, if it is not to capitulate and ensure the death of this democracy, then it must look at the process that has produced the incongruent situation that we have found ourselves in today, and then tell us, is this normal? Is this as it should be? Is this the precedence we want to set for elections in our country? That is up to the judiciary.
All right, yes, it's no longer news. The election was a sham. It was an embarrassment to the electoral process in Nigeria and the electoral umpire in the country. Well, in order for us not to say things that are sub judice, we would leave it to the court to really come to terms with what they have to do as regards the verdict, which is in some few weeks to come. Now, secondly, I brought you an update yesterday about the overview of the court proceedings for the Labour Party. Today, I have that of the People's Democratic Party. It's a sort of documentary though. So, what happened in court yesterday has been reiterated, and I brought it straight to your doorsteps. So when you listen to this video, you will really understand what happened in court, the PDP, what they said, even the Labour Party's case, and so on, aside the update of yesterday. So without much ado, let me give you this particular update, because it is no longer good for us to wait for so long before we have the information about what happened in court. So watch this video and make sure you pay attention to the details of this video and listen to the mess up INEC messed up in the court and how their witness brought them to book. I brought that yesterday, but this time around you will know what really conspired when the PDP really asked the questions about what happened during the electoral process and what brought about the glitch, the alleged glitch. Listen to this documentary, a very brief one though. Watch and stay tuned. More details when we come back. Don't touch that dial. Stay tuned.
The All Progressives Congress APC on Wednesday told the Presidential Election Petition Court that it would not participate in the whipping of dead horses as it declined to open defense in the petition of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) and its presidential candidate Abubakar Atiku, challenging the conduct and declaration in the February 25 presidential election. APC, through its lead counsel, Prince Lateef Olasunkanmi Fagbemi SAN, said that there was absolutely nothing to defend in the separate petitions of the Labour Party and the PDP. The senior lawyer decided not to open defense in Atiku's petition after cross-examining the Senate Majority Leader, Michael Opeyemi Bamidele, the star witness to President Bola Ahmed Tinibu. Fagbemi had subjected Senator Bamidele to rigorous questioning, during which the witness, who is a legal practitioner, admitted that Tinibu's election cannot be reversed on the strength of his forfeiture of $460,000 to the United States of America, USA, through a court order. While responding to Fagbemi's questions, the witness held that Tinibu was not prosecuted, indicted, or sentenced for any criminal charges by any American court, adding that civil forfeiture cannot take the place of criminal trial and conviction. The witness further stated that as far as the criminal indictment is concerned, Bola Ahmed Tinibu has a clean bill of health because he was never indicted and convicted by any American court. Responding to further questions, the Senate Majority Leader claimed to have known President Tinibu for more than 35 years as a bona fide Nigerian citizen by birth. However, after reviewing the evidence of the witness, and it was time for APC to open defense, Fagbemi said, "Having taken a sober reflection of the entire case, we have enough evidence and we are not calling any witness. We do not intend to whip dead horses. We announce the closure of the case of the third respondent." Earlier, the Senate Majority Leader had told the Presidential Election Petition Court that President Bola Tinubu does not need to score 25% of votes cast in FCT to be declared winner of the February 25 election. The witness, who was cross-examined by Eitayo Jegede, SAN, counsel to Atiku and PDP, said although Abuja is the federal capital of Nigeria, it has no special status other than that. When asked if the committee reports on the location of FCT recommended a special status for FCT, the witness admitted that FCT is a symbol of unity and maintained that other state capitals such as Kano, Ibadan, Enugu and others are also centers of unity. He agreed with the petitioner's counsel that President Tinibu scored 19.4% in total votes cast in FCT. When told that Tinibu emerged as the first president to be declared without scoring 25% votes in FCT and not winning his home state, the witness said it did not matter. According to the witness, the judgment of the U.S. court on the forfeiture of $460,000 has Tinubu's name, but not as a criminal suspect, but as civil proceedings, insisting that it was civil forfeiture and not a criminal forfeiture. Under further cross-examination by counsel to APC, Prince Lateef Fagbemi SAN, the witness agreed that there cannot be a conviction without a charge, trial, indictment and conviction. The witness said by the judgment of the Federal High Court Abuja, in a suit filed by the Labour Party against INEC on the mode of collation of election results, held that INEC is at liberty to use any mode of collation it deems fit. After the testimony of President Tinubu's sole witness, Chief Wole Olanipekun SAN, announced the closure of Tinubu's defense, while Lateef Fagbemi SAN announced for APC. Meanwhile, the court has given the respondents 10 days to file their final written addresses. The petitioner 7 days to respond and 5 days to reply on point of law. Parties will be communicated on the date to adopt the final written addresses. That's according to the presiding justice of the Presidential Election Petition Court, Justice Haruna Samani.
All right, thank you for joining us. If you are just tuning in, this is just that preferred YouTube channel you love. that news hub that keeps you updated on the political system and occurrences and what has been trending within the last 24 hours and 48 hours in Nigeria. Yes, that is that about that documentary. I hope you paid rapt attention and keen interest so you will understand as I bring you the updates of what happens at the Presidential Elections Petitions Court. Now, finally, before I go further, I will urge our viewers, both incoming and already existing, tap the subscribe button, tap the notification bell so you'll be the first with first-hand information anytime we drop a new video. Watch till the end. Don't forget to also like, share this video to people around you and people outside Nigeria so we could go viral and give more information to people around the world. Okay, now drop a comment for us in the comment section if you feel different from anything we do here. Finally, let me make a statement that is in the next video I'm going to show you. In the next 6 months, you will not recognize President Muhammadu Buhari because I heard he is now in exile in London. He is running helter-skelter, finding where to hide and so on. These are not my words. No. These are not my words. These are the words of someone you know so well that is not a good friend to President Muhammadu Buhari. You know who that is? Omoyele Sowore, the presidential candidate of the African Action Congress, AAC. Now, he has been indicted for treason all the while since 2019, and the case has been finally reopened. 3 or 4 judges have come for the case, and they have run away. I will not say they have been transferred. These judges saw that they could not handle the case, and they took to their heels. Now, Omoyele Sowore attended the court proceedings yesterday, and he had this to say on President Muhammadu Buhari after the court proceedings. So those statements belong to Omoyele Sowore, and if you listen to how he described President Muhammadu Buhari, you will weep for the former president. Oh, I pity President Muhammadu Buhari because of these statements made by Sowore. Listen and stay tuned. More explanations when we come back.
And to ensure that Buhari is disgraced out of power. He has been disgraced out of power. I heard he's on the run now in London. In 6 months, you will not recognize Buhari because power was what kept him alive. So today we are here for a rearrangement. But before the rearrangement, we're expecting 2 judgments. And these are lawsuits I filed against the police. One for shooting me nearby here by CSP at Hilaria. And also the brutalization I suffered trying to cover an event here in court, also in 2021, the day that coincided with the day they brought Nnamdi Kanu. The Federal High Court Justice decided in his own wisdom that we didn't provide sufficient information, including, I provided 7 exhibits, including in the doctor's report. It's very interesting that he said that the doctor did not identify the police that shot me, so there's no way the doctor could have known. But that's by the way. We will decide the next steps, whether we'll go on appeal or not. But our position is that we should appeal that, not because of us, but because we must stop all forms of police abuse in this country. If you go to France now, the reason why there is almost a revolution in France is because of police brutality. So police must be made to understand that they work for the people and not the other way round. So the second case, the most important case we came for was the rearrangement for treason. You know, in 2019, I was arrested for planning a now activity across the country, which was very successful. And today, since 2019, they haven't been able to proceed with more than 1 witness. And then the judge who was handling the case was transferred. I don't want to say that she left the case, but she never came back to it. It was sent to another judge. The judge abandoned it. It then went to this judge who, since February of 2021, has not heard the case. But now he decided today that we should come for rearrangement. And I was prepared as usual to be rearranged. But our lawyer who is here will tell you what transpired in court.
Wow! Yes, I'm laughing. You know why I'm laughing? Everything that has a beginning must have an end. Yes, no one believed that one day President Muhammadu Buhari will go out of office, and here now is Omoyele Sowore, his arch enemy, having the last laugh. I don't know the reactions of President Mahmoud Buhari over this. Well, I don't know if he still has policemen at his disposal to arrest this activist Omoyele Sowore, but that is left for the two of them and the court to settle. So that is that on that particular object. I hope you enjoyed our times together. But I will see if the judiciary will continue with the proceedings of Omoyele Sowore, because someone who has been arrested and indicted for treason because he led a peaceful protest that has to do with activism and the fight for the welfare of Nigerians and all that. I don't think that should be feasible in our judiciary. So that is that. Thank you for staying with us and keeping faith with us. I would like to draw it like a close here, and I would like to call it quits here. Stay tuned for more details with Nation Voice Tower. Thank you so much. See you next time. Bye.